All right, here I am again, 30-minute mechanic. Got my push rods in, so we're gonna put the push rods in, adjust the rockers. So most of this is probably gonna be time lapse because nobody wants to see me do this in real time for sure. All right, buckle up, let's go. Okay, got new push rods here. These are composition cams. Yes, they are hardened push rods for guide plates. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop all of them in there, and we'll be done with that part. Now, since these, well, I'll go ahead and do these. I'm going to adjust these the exhaust opening, intake closing method. That seems to be the best. I've had the best luck with that. I'm adjusting the rockers for hydraulic stuff. That just got stuck. Okay, there we go. So it's going to take a while because I have to turn the motor over like 900 times to do this. So that's why I'm going to time lapse this, so you won't be watching me turn the motor over, adjust, move the next end, and I'm not going to jump around. I'm just going to go right straight down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just right down the thing. So that's why I'll have to turn the motor over like 47,000 times, but I really don't care. That's the way I'm going to do it. So, all right, well, I just checked this number 1 intake rocker here. And I watched the plunger down there while I was turning the nut, and it looks like about half a turn is going to be about right for these. Now this lifter's bled down, so the plunger will move up and down, and it doesn't. I mean, if you go to 3/4 of a turn, it pretty much goes solid. So not a whole lot of adjustability in that particular lifter. Sometimes they go on down. Mash on down there, but this one, these don't have a lot of travel to them. So we're going to stick with half a turn. That gives us a pretty good little plunger smash, and then have a little bit of room on top. So here we go. All right, we got that one bank done. Everything looks pretty good. Take a peek into here. I'll show you this in a minute when we get done, but you can see the rocker fulcrums are up off of the fillets on the rocker studs. Really nice. So now we just get to move this wiring harness over a little bit. Turn up the drop. 100 pounds of dirt in the motor, and we'll see if we can do the other side now. All right, I'm gonna take a break from the time lapse just to kind of show you what I'm doing here real quick. I've got my exhaust valve closing, and so I adjust my intake. And on hydraulic stuff, you basically just take it down to where it's 0 lash. Some guys say where you can't spin the push rod. Well, sometimes that's kind of arbitrary, depending on how much lube you have in there. I usually just take it down to where the nut just stops. I mean, it kind of feels like it turns easy. Whoop, it stops right there. And I'm putting a half turn, like I said before, a half turn of preload on there. So I'll put that on there, and then I'll just turn it half a turn, and then lock the lock down, and that one's done. Now it's I mean, there's no, it's not like running lash on a solid roller or a solid flat tappet. You don't have to get it exactly right, because that's what the hydraulic lifter does. It adjusts itself. You're just taking up the lash so the hydraulic lifter can operate properly. So that's what I'm doing in a nutshell. So back to the time lapse. Adjusted and you turn the motor over and they bleed off some pressure. I mean, you can see, you can move them with your fingers and you can watch the plunger down there move as you're doing it. So that's normal. I mean, they're just bled down. If they're brand new lifters, they'll do that. That's why I don't ever pre-soak my lifters. I just put them in and then adjust them. That way when I'm adjusting them, I can really see that plunger move and know that my adjustment's proper. But anyways, those are all in there. Let me show you the clearance we have now, which is the whole reason for going to the longer push rod. Let's see, maybe I can turn on, whoop, right there. Turn on the light. Then go a little zoomy. But you can see, right, where's my big finger? There it is, giant finger. Giant finger's pointing at the clearance we have now. I think you can probably see it on that one a little clearer. Between the rocker body and the fillet on the rocker stud there. So that's the problem we were trying to alleviate. So we've got that fixed, and all our rockers are on and adjusted. So it's time to move on to the next step, which probably won't be today. Okay, last thing I'm going to do is we got our timing pointer right here. It's kind of bent. Straighten that thing out just a skosh. We're going to turn the motor around to our top dead center on 1. And now remember, there's two going on here. And if this is firing, there's 0. There's our 0 mark. If this is firing on number 1, then our, I don't know if I can move you. If that's really firing number 1, then both these lifters will be on their base circle, and you can wiggle the rocker arms. So there's number 1 firing on number 1. So we're good to go right there. So motor's back, ready for the distributor to be stabbed. So I guess that's probably going to wrap it up today. All right. That's going to do it for 30-minute mechanic today. We got our rockers all on, adjusted. You can see the longer push rod really helps out our interference problem that we were having. Looked at the roller tips. They look fine on the valve stems. Really not a big deal if you have a roller rocker with a roller tip on the end of your push rod, as long as it's not running off one side or the other. I adjusted them using the EOIC method. Intake, oh gosh, I almost said it wrong. Exhaust opening, intake closing. And I get that wrong every time I think about it. I don't know, you probably saw me backing up and having to redo things or adjust different rockers because I was getting intake open, exhaust, I don't know. I usually write it on the radiator up here so I won't forget, but exhaust open. When the exhaust is opening, you can adjust the intake rocker. When the intake is closing, you can adjust the exhaust rocker. So always remember that, EOIC, E-I-E-I-O. Anyways, check out the description. Buzz over to my friends' YouTube channels and see what they're up to. Give them a like and subscribe. But for now, like, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your friends. We'll see you next time. Bye.